All right. Hello, everyone. Hopefully, you all can hear and see me. My name is Daniel Leitner. I am a licensed financial advisor with Hendricks Wealth and Estate Management, and I'm excited to talk to you today about a topic that is crucial for everyone's financial well-being, retirement savings. Today, we're going to compare and contrast two of the most popular individual retirement accounts, the traditional IRA and the Roth IRA. While they might seem similar on the surface, their differences can have a massive impact on your financial future. If I do a good job today, hopefully, then by the end of this presentation, you'll have a clear understanding of how each account works, and most importantly, which one might be the best fit for you. All right, so before we dive into the differences, let's establish a baseline. So what exactly is an IRA? An IRA stands for an individual retirement arrangement or account. The key word here is individual. This is a personal savings account that you, the individual, open with an authorized financial institution such as a Fidelity, a Schwab, or a Vanguard. It's separate from any retirement plans your employer might offer, like a 401k. An IRA is a tax-advantaged investment account designed to help people save money for retirement. It is worth noting that the account itself is not an investment, but rather a container that holds investments such as stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. The IRS sets an annual contribution limit, which applies to the total amount that you can put into all of your IRAs combined. For 2025, that limit is $7,000. If you are 50 or older, you can add an extra catch-up contribution of $1,000, bringing your total to $8,000. It's also important to note that your total compensation can't be more than your earned income for the year. Now, this slide is the core of our discussion. If you remember one thing from this presentation, hopefully it's this slide, the fundamental difference between a traditional and a Roth IRA, and that lies in their tax treatment. It boils down to a question of timing. Do you want to take your tax break now, or do you want it later? We'll start with the traditional IRA. This is the tax break now option. The money you put into a traditional IRA may be tax deductible. This means you can subtract that contribution amount from your taxable income for the year, which can lead to a lower tax bill today. The money you invested into your IRA then grows tax deferred, meaning you don't pay taxes on any of the investment gains as they happen. The catch is, when you eventually withdraw money in retirement, both the contributions and the earnings are taxed as ordinary income. Unfortunately, you can't completely evade the IRS forever. However, for the Roth IRA, this is the tax break later option. You contribute money that you've already paid taxes on, so these are after-tax dollars. You don't get a tax deduction for your contributions. However, the powerful benefit here is that your money grows completely tax-free. And when you make qualified withdrawals in retirement, both the contributions and all your investment earnings come out completely tax-free. You will never pay taxes on that money again. So let's dig a little bit deeper into the traditional IRA to compare and contrast it against the Roth IRA. The biggest pro of the traditional IRA is the immediate tax savings. For someone in a high tax bracket today, the ability to deduct contributions can be very attractive as it lowers your tax bill. Another advantage is that there are no income limits to contribute to a traditional IRA. However, there are income limits on whether you can deduct your contributions if you or your spouse are covered by a retirement plan at work. It's a key distinction. On the con side, the big drawback is that your withdrawals in retirement are a taxable event. You'll be adding to your taxable income in retirement, which could potentially bump you also into a higher tax bracket than you anticipated. Traditional IRAs are also subject to the required minimum distributions, or RMDs. This is the way the government takes to get its tax money, so they require you to start taking distributions at age 73, whether you need the money or not. So who is a traditional IRA best for? Primarily, it's for those who are in their peak earning years and they believe they will be in a lower tax bracket in retirement. Maybe you're a high income earner today, but you expect to live on a fixed income from Social Security and retirement accounts later. Those who want an immediate tax deduction to lower their current tax bill would also benefit from a traditional IRA. Next, we will look at the Roth IRA. The primary pro and main selling point is the promise of tax-free income in retirement. Imagine all that money you saved or encouraged your kids to save growing for decades, and then you get to take it out without ever owing a penny of tax on it again. That is incredibly powerful. Unlike a traditional IRA, there are no required minimum distributions during your lifetime. Your money can continue to grow tax-free for as long as you live, and you can even pass the account on to your heirs. The third big pro is flexibility. You can withdraw your original contributions, not the growth, but your contributions at any time for any reason without taxes or penalties. This makes a Roth a great emergency fund of last resort, although you should always aim to not touch your retirement savings. The main con of Roths is the lack of an immediate tax deduction, meaning you don't get a tax break today for your contributions. The other big limitation is the income limit. As a trade-off for the massive tax benefit in retirement, the IRS phases out eligibility to contribute to a Roth IRA at higher income levels. I've listed the 2025 limits here, and they are subject to change each year. So who is a Roth IRA best for? Generally, it's for younger workers who are in a lower tax bracket today. Their income will likely increase over the career, and they'll be in a higher tax bracket in retirement. The idea is that they pay tax now while they're in that lower bracket to avoid paying more tax later in a higher bracket. Regardless of age, it's a great option for anyone who anticipates their tax bracket to be higher in retirement. This table summarizes everything that we've covered. It's a great tool to quickly compare the key differences between traditional IRAs and Roth IRAs. The most important columns to look at are the tax implications on contributions and withdrawals. This is where you see the core differences in tax philosophy. It is important to remember the RMD rule. That's a big one to consider for long-term planning, especially if you want to leave money to your heirs. Now that we've covered the basics, I want to introduce a more advanced topic that bridges the two account types, the Roth conversion. A Roth conversion is exactly what it sounds like. You are converting money from a traditional IRA or even a 401k into a Roth IRA. You are essentially taking money that was tax deferred and making it tax-free forever. But there is a catch, and it's a big one. To make the conversion, you have to pay taxes. The entire amount you convert is added to your taxable income for that year. This is a strategic move that should be carefully planned to avoid an unexpectedly large tax bill. So why would anyone do this? A key reason is that there are no income limits on who can perform a conversion. So this allows your high income earners who are typically ineligible to contribute directly to a Roth to get money into that Roth IRA. This is what's known as the backdoor Roth IRA strategy. People also convert because they believe their current tax rate is temporarily low, perhaps during a period of unemployment or a year with significant business losses, or during the gap years between retiring and starting Social Security and required minimum distributions. It's a way to prepay taxes on that money at a lower rate. It's a powerful tool, but it's not a decision to be taken lightly. It's a complex financial move, and it's essential to work with a professional who can help you model the tax implications before you make the leap. So what is the right choice for you? This slide summarizes the core decisions you have to make, and it all comes down to your personal tax forecast. Think of it like this. A traditional IRA is like betting that your future tax rate will be lower than your current one. You're saying, I'll take the tax deduction now at my high rate, and I'll pay taxes later at a lower rate. A Roth IRA is the opposite. You're betting that your future tax rate will be higher. You're saying, I'll pay tax now at my lower rate to avoid paying it on all that growth later at a higher rate. While it's impossible to know what future tax laws will look like, you can make an educated guess about your personal financial situation. Will you have a mortgage, children's college expenses, and a high earning salary in retirement? Or will you be debt free with a lower fixed income? Your answer to that question can help guide your decision. There's no single right answer for everyone. Your age, your income, and long term goals all play a role. For many people, the best strategy is a mix of both. Having both traditional and Roth assets gives you tax diversification, allowing you to pull from the different tax buckets in retirement to manage your tax bill. The most important takeaway, however, is this: don't let the complexity of the choice stop you from saving. The power of compounding is such a much more greater force than any tax deduction. So the sooner you start, the better. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to take any questions now. It's at the bottom of your screen, labeled Q&A, right in the middle.
And Dan, I think you did just such a good job that nobody's got any questions.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. For future events, you can check out our website at hendrickswealth.com and go to the events tab, and you will be able to see our upcoming events and also our past events as well.
We did just get a question. Can I contribute to a Roth and a regular IRA? And the answer is yes, you can, but you can't go above your annual limit combined. So if you're over 50 and your limit is $8,000, then you could do 4,000 into a Roth and 4,000 into a traditional, but you can't go over your limit on a combined basis. And then we have another question here. What are the upper income limits for Roth and IRA contributions? Those are indexed to inflation. And this is Jim Hendricks, by the way. I'm the owner of Hendricks Wealth and Estate Management. It gets a little complex with traditional IRAs. It depends on whether you're covered by an employer-sponsored plan and whether you're married and whether your spouse is covered by an employer-sponsored plan. So those incomes are a little complex to get into here, but for a Roth IRA, they are indexed for inflation. I might have that at my
218,000.
We believe it's 218,000 on the Roth, but we can check as well.
Okay, I thought it was a little higher than that. I'm checking on that right now. I don't remember it off the top of my head anymore because it does change. Okay, up from 236,000 up to 246,000 is what we've got for 2025. So if your income is below, your adjusted gross income is below 236,000, you are fully eligible to contribute to a Roth, and that is phased out on a straight line basis up to 246,000 for a married couple. Okay. And we have another question here. If I have a work simple IRA, can I have a separate account? Yes, you can. So a simple IRA is an employer-sponsored plan that does, and any contributions to that do not count as contributions to an IRA, either a Roth or a traditional. So that's a good question. Yes, you can have a simple IRA and a Roth or traditional IRA as well. Just took a second to break the ice. Now we're getting some good questions. And any other questions? Okay, Dan, I'll let you close it out.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening and taking the time today. We appreciate all your questions, and we look forward to seeing you at future events. Oh, it looks like we got one more question.
Are there different contribution limits if I'm a 1099 employee, meaning if I'm an independent contractor? And the answer is no. There, as an individual, there are no different limits whether you get 1099 wages or W-2 wages, as long as your earnings are subject to self-employment tax or employment tax, meaning Social Security taxes and Medicare taxes, then those are the dollars that are eligible to go into a Roth or traditional IRA, and the limits are the same either way. Okay, now we'll close it out.
All right. Once again, thank you everybody for your time today. We appreciate you stopping in and hope you pulled some value from this meeting. We look forward to seeing you next week, and we'll talk to you then. Thanks, everybody.